Thanks to Jersey Sports Zone, and Volpe makes almost the identical play.
At home, they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Remember that young man, Big Al?
The Minnesota Lynx select Diamond Miller.
Video courtesy of Jersey Sports Zone.
It's an incredible goal, so that's a nice one. It's deserved of number one.
You got my food.
Number 2, New Jersey high school football.
Here on Jersey Sports Zone.
We're back to talk more high school sports. This is Jersey Sports Zone's Beyond the Score podcast, episode 7, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together. I'm Rich Krampanis, joined by Jay Cook. I'm excited to catch up with you on, we had a stellar week. I mean, sometimes you get a good couple of days. This was one of those weeks where we just seemed every day we had something top-notch going on.
Heavy hitters from Monday through Saturday, A-plus action all over the entire state. I mean, we were really busy this week, and it showed. I mean, if you guys hit that YouTube channel, you're going to find just incredible game after incredible game. There's so much to go over.
And we got a full plate. We're going to talk soccer. We're going to talk number 1 teams in the country, not disappointing. We're going to talk all the football. When we come back, we're going to dive deep into Bosco and Joe's. And how about a big-name guest on the pod this week?
Yeah.
One of the top recruits in the country for wrestling, Sonny Amato from Rumson-Fair Haven. He is an Iowa Hawkeye, and he's going to break it down in detail for all of us.
Can't wait. We'll talk to you guys in just a little bit.
It's one thing to win one award, but it's another 46 things to win 46 awards. New Jersey's most comprehensive academic healthcare system. Learn more at rwjbh.org/US News.
Welcome back to Beyond the Score. Rich, you were up in place of me in Bergen County this week. I was at a wedding over the weekend. But boy, you walked into maybe one of the most insane, back and forth, twisty-turvy. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this game, this St. Joe's Don Bosco game on Saturday. Just a madness, right?
This is when you know you're going to kind of walk in and say, okay, we're not fooling around here.
Yeah.
I walk in, I get on the Bosco side, and first person I see is Nunzio Campanelli.
Yeah.
Syracuse quarterback coach. Syracuse has got to buy. And I walk down a little bit. Well, there's Joe Shane. He's in a pretty good mood. Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo, everyone's pumped up. I love that Joe Shane was as locked in for Bosco Joes as he was Giants Eagles.
100%. I saw him the week before. He's locked in.
And he's talking to a couple of West Virginia coaches. Yeah. So I'm just like, anybody who's got a bye week that's in the top 70 is and I don't know who else was there, but I just saw them there and I said, okay, here we go. Carson Shane can spin it.
Yes.
I like the maturity he has as a sophomore. Him and Trey Taliaferro are kind of like, they're kind of mirrors of each other, where not very many sophomores can go and play in that level and conduct themselves well. And I thought that Carson Shane threw some great balls early on, and then the play got dictated to just be a back and forth, and you got to protect the ball and not turn the ball over. So I was really impressed with Carson Shane, but you go into this Don Bosco defense, and I feel like we could do an hour podcast arguing who the best player defensively is for Bosco.
Yeah.
Now, when I was there, for me, it was Phoenix Evans on the edge, controlling the run. Then you're like, oh, that's why he's got 31 offers.
Yeah.
I got it. Understood. And then the guy that really jumped out to me was Aiden O'Neill.
Yes.
4-star recruit. And I saw something the next day on Twitter. West Virginia offers Aiden O'Neill. I was standing, 7 feet away from those guys, and I would have, if there was a Jersey Sports Zone University, I would have offered him.
Yeah,
along with about 9 other guys on the field that game. So it was fantastic. But the most fascinating thing about this game is I got to give you some stats, Jay.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, you look at St. Joe's Montvale outgains Don Bosco. The first downs 18-7 Joes, passing 243-84 Joes, rushing 103-61 Joes. That's over 200 yards more of offense. Yet Don Bosco somehow, some way, figured out a way to win this football game. They did it thanks to Isaiah Alvarez with a 91-yard kickoff return.
That kid's electric, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a special player.
Look, he caught the first one on a slant. Now, Jeremiah Alvarez got hurt a few plays before, so Bosco was banged up, but I said, go to the other Alvarez, and boom, boom, 2 touchdowns. I think the most critical play of the game was 14-14, early fourth. Geis played fantastic. Mason Geis played great for Joe's, threw for 250 just about? 250 on the dot.
250 on the dot.
He throws a beautiful ball to Nate Bailey in the corner of the end zone, and Amari McNeil makes an unbelievable play. Not only one to defend it, he gets his hand up, the ball pops up in the air, and then he makes the interception. That was unbelievable. So we love to look at numbers and things. You say, how do you outgain somebody by 200 yards and lose a game? And you think of these little things. One big play. Alvarez, 91-yard house call. A critical interception.
Yeah.
And then a little misfortune on a snap there at the end of regulation. Everybody at Bosco thought they ran it off for a touchdown.
The sidelines were insane.
Yeah, the quarterback, intentional grounding. I think the officials got that call right. And then, look, at the end of the day, the Don Bosco defense did what it had to do. And
buckle down.
Then you go to Johnny Dever, the best lacrosse kicker in America. I'm calling it right now.
Yes, I completely agree.
This guy's a D1 Yale Ivy League recruit for lacrosse, and they got to talk him into saying, "Hey, can you kick for us again?" And weather's coming down. I'm seeing that I took that shot on purpose of the goalpost.
Yeah, it was soaking wet.
Right. And I said, okay, what's going to see? And when it mattered the most, Don Bosco did those little things that got them a 17-14 overtime win. Look, there was so much talent on the field. Now, I think if you're St. Joe's, first thing you got to do is insulate yourself. Don't listen to everybody who's on social media, saying that, Joe's, they messed up, they blew it. You look at it, you just played the number 1 team in the state, you outgained them. If you can learn from this, you had 2 back-to-back losses, a heartbreaker by 1, you lost on a 2-point conversion, you lost in overtime on a field goal against the number 1 team in the state.
Yeah.
If you can figure out, you got a few weeks here. If you can figure out those little things, I'll tell you what, don't sign me up to play St. Joe's in the playoffs. Not interested. They are going to be a tough bunch. If they stay together and they look at, hey, rather than get caught up in all the negativity and say, hey, we can play with anybody in this state.
For sure.
I think that's my takeaway was it was right there for Joe's. It really was. But big credit to Dan Sabella and Don Bosco. Those guys, what they have infused there is it's everybody on the field. You don't sit there and say, who's the number 1 player at Bosco? Every week we can have a different argument. It's a lot of people stepping up, and they're all doing it together. Again, I laugh, in a few weeks here, we're going to start picking our all-zone team.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Don Bosco guys on that defense where you're going to sit there?
More than I can count on this one hand.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I mean, Ramos had that big hit that got called for targeting, which was a 50-50. Well, I mean, the list of names that just went in there and made plays. I love talking defense because it's so easy for us to just keep showing long runs and long
touchdowns.
passes.
Yep.
I mean, when it's Bosco, you're coming to show some defense.
Defense this year has been. I mean, look, we talked about it last week. We've talked about it after the Bergen game. You're right. It's somebody else every single week. And I have not seen Phoenix Evans take over a game yet, or I had not seen Amari McNeil take over a game. This was their week. Everybody's going to have their turn at Bosco to be in the limelight, in a big spot, go make a play. They have figured out a way to just game plan and get these guys in the right spots. It's just incredible. They're rolling on all cylinders. And about Joe's, you're totally right. They come out of the bye after a 1-point loss to St. Peter's. They lose in overtime to Don Bosco. It's tough. But as we have talked about, the level of parity this year is so close. Everybody is so close. Joe's is 4 points away from being the number one team in the state. Legitimately, right? I mean,
look, coaches don't like to do this, but we can, right?
Sure.
Let's look far ahead and you say, okay, how's it going to play out if everything's up to chalk? I'm saying semifinals, you're going to have a Bosco-Joe's rematch, and then you're going to have Peters and Bergen on the other side. Now, look, I'm going to say this, and everything can get jumbled up in the next 2 weeks. But in my head, as I'm driving back from Montvale, I'm going, wow, we're probably going to see this game again, and we're probably going to see it in Ramsey. And, I mean, it was hard for them to beat them once.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So I'm already thinking ahead to whatever it is, November, that first week in November. It's going to be those four teams. I'm just fascinated by all four of them, and anything can happen.
Look, Joe's has to play Pope John this week. They should be able to regroup and get back on track against Pope John. I'm sure they're very confident they can do that. And then the regular season finale. Oh, no, the second to last game of the regular season, they get to play Bergen Catholic. And that is another measuring stick game. Could Joe's go in and beat Bergen Catholic in 2 weeks? Yes. They took Bergen Catholic to overtime in the non-public A semifinals last year in an incredibly tight and close game. So, look, Joe's has shown that they are right there with everybody. Are they just one or two plays away? That's what it comes down to. They are. They're a really good team.
And we got to remember, Nate Bailey just came back.
Yes.
I don't think he's at 100%. He is so good. He is
so
so
electric.
elusive.
Yes.
Lamar Best, a lot of people ask about Best. He played like 3 plays. I think he was a decoy, yet in overtime he got a carry.
He did, okay.
So at some point, and listen, Mason Geis played great, so it's not like they had a huge drop-off at the quarterback position. So when you see what Joe's is going to look like, I tell Nate Bailey, get to treatment every day.
Yes.
Let's
time,
keep working
right.
on PT. We got to keep you on the field because you are so fun and so electric to watch.
He's the man.
Just a treat to watch him. And what a job the Joe's defense did.
They played great.
This the guy who popped out to me was Cam Amy.
Mm-hmm.
He came in he came in. They gave him 1.5 sacks. I'm going to give you 2. Okay, that's my stats.
Sure.
But he really came in and made a huge impact. The Shane interception was Cam Amy, getting a piece of it, and then that wounded duck.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
They've got a lot of guys. Taj Gray over in the middle of the defense. The back end, KJ McClain is a Tennessee commit. I saw AJ Ravella had a big game too.
Had the pick.
Right? AJ is one of the most unsung players in North Jersey. Does not get the credit that he deserves. A Fordham commit. He is an awesome sideline-to-sideline linebacker. So look, you're 100% right. We will probably see this game again.
I just want to thank these two teams. Now,
Yes.
it was a long Saturday night for me. I'm always, hey, let's try and keep the highlights moving and the pacing. 17-14 game, if I called you down at the wedding, during the rehearsal dinner, which I didn't, I would have said, hey, I got a 17-14 game. You go, it's what, you going to do 3 minutes, 3:20?
Yeah, give or take.
Like 7 minutes because there were so many exceptional highlights. When those guys play at that level, you gotta go long.
You have to.
Like, we gotta show these plays because we're watching. You sit here on Sunday and you're watching the NFL and you're like, the reality is some of those guys on that field are going to be there on Sunday.
Oh, heck yeah!
Like I was watching the Lions Chiefs game and who's protecting Jared Goff? Christian Mahogany. Right? The Paramus Catholic guy.
Yep.
So, look, it was a treat to watch. I just can't wait to see this whole thing play out. And then we shift now from non-public A to non-public B.
For sure.
RBC. We were on this story early. The storyline hasn't changed. These 2 freshmen have walked into non-public football, which is something you're not supposed to do. Ramir Rivera at quarterback, Gabe Kemp at running back. Gabe Kemp is now an 1,100-yard rusher.
Man.
7 games into his high school career. He has 7 games with at least 100 yards.
So impressive.
He ran for 190 against Rumson-Fair Haven. 2 touchdowns. The Caseys are, without question, the number 1 team in the Shore.
It's been decided. You feel comfortable saying that?
I feel comfortable saying that. They've got to play Marlboro in 2 weeks, and that's the end of their Shore Conference schedule. There is nobody else. Big shout out to Southern Regional. They've got a big game with Brick Memorial.
For sure.
They could go unbeaten. They're not at this level. RBC is the number 1 team in the Shore, and that's all fine and good, and we can close that chapter. So now it becomes, where is RBC going to stack up in non-public B, where everyone thinks, and rightfully so, DePaul Catholic is the overwhelming favorite to repeat as the state champions. And now we kind of transition into what's going to happen with RBC as they go forward. But we're going to kind of tease this going into break here.
Yeah, for sure.
You're going to get to see RBC.
Very excited.
We'll talk about their opponent, which I think is going to be a fascinating game. I've been thinking about this game.
I know.
Quite a bit.
Now this one is big red circle around it.
So we'll talk and look ahead to the week ahead, starting with that big RBC game on the road. That's when Beyond the Score continues, presented by RWJ Barnabas Health.
It's really nice to be in a situation, in a place where there are very good people who take good care of people.
Orthopedics is it's not about saving lives, it's about saving quality of life.
A lot of people, we live high stress lives, so if you tell someone they can't do something for whatever reason, that's pretty traumatic.
I really take pride in trying to be empathetic and trying to put myself in every patient's shoes.
I want to take care of people like I'd want to take care of my family. And I think that when you do that and give somebody that family feeling and give them your honest opinion for what you would do, they value that.
Dream big, they say. We say dream bigger. Over 3 million square feet of bigger, so you can plunge deeper, play in the snow longer, wonder greater, pose with your friends sillier, shop with your family happier, make every meal tastier, and float higher than ever. Whatever your dream is, come live it big time at American Dream.
Welcome back to the Beyond the Score podcast. I got so riled up there, Jay, about RBC.
Yeah, we had to reel you in a little bit.
I had to reel me in because I'm realizing you're going to go and see RBC in person, and you're going to see them at Paramus Catholic.
Very interesting.
If you're one of these guys that looks at online and says, 7-0 against 2-5. Oh, why are you guys getting all worked up about that? Paramus Catholic has played, outside of playing like the Denver Broncos next week. Right. I mean, that's the kind of schedule they're playing, right?
Look, they're in the United Red and White meat grinder, right? That all these coaches up in North Jersey call like the SEC of New Jersey high school football. They're playing they just got done playing Bergen. They play Bosco. They play all these incredible teams around in that North Jersey vortex. And look, they've taken some lumps this year. Nobody's going to say that they haven't. It's been a little bit of a tough year PC, but when you look at it, this team, they've got some guys, man. They've got some guys. It just comes down to what's the health situation look like. Now, Paramus Catholic is going to be home. They likely are going to be without their starting quarterback, Marco Green. So there's some questions there as to how the offense overall is going to run, but they got some backs. Nakai Martin, who we talked about earlier,
right?
A month and a half ago, I saw him pop off against St. Peter's Prep. Does RBC have a guy that can hang with Nakai Martin on the outside? I don't know. They might, but these are the challenges that a Paramus Catholic poses. They're cagey. Their backs up are against the wall. The backs are up against the wall right here. Excuse me. PC needs a win. They need a win. The non-public B playoff schedule is all going to start getting into play now. Once that committee meets at the end of the regular season, how is it going to play out? This is a game that is going to be a deciding factor in who likely earns the number 2 seed in non-public B. And what's the value in that? You get to stay away from DePaul Catholic until the state championship. So, can RBC, with all these young guys, make their first big road trip of the year, go up to Paramus, and go beat, a team that in years past has been a blue blood New Jersey football program? It's a really big spot for Red Bank Catholic. And like I said, PC, they're dangerous right now because they need a win. They need a win badly. And so, look, RBC is going to have their hands full. It's you talk about the records. I'm throwing the records aside. Just get ready for a good old-fashioned football game. It's going to mean a lot.
Well, what you're going to see with Red Bank Catholic is their key guys are playing two ways, which is not the norm in North Jersey.
Not ideal.
So the answer to Nakai Martin is their best receiver, Daniel Zabora. He's their guy in the secondary.
Okay.
Jason Boreski, their second best receiver. He had 2 picks against Rumson-Fair Haven. Tardamella, who has all those offers as a defensive edge guy, he'll be on the O-line every play. It's Tardamella and Key are their 2 best guys on that front 4, so they play both ways. So that's what's going to be interesting. The only guys who don't play 2 ways are Rivera and Kemp, so they'll be ready to go. And this is great for Gabe Kemp. He's got a reputation in North Jersey because of his youth football career.
Yes.
He is getting a national reputation now because he's at 1,100.
Yeah.
Is he going to get to 15, 17, 2,000? If they go all the way, this is going to be real interesting. But I can't wait to see these 2 kids conduct themselves in their toughest test to date.
Major spot.
It's going to be a great game.
Well, the other thing too, Paramus Catholic went down to RBC last year in what people thought was going to be a layup game for PC. RBC beat them.
They ran him out of Red Bank.
Right.
So they put him right on that Jersey Transit train behind Count Basie. Yeah. But look, in defense of Paramus Catholic, they were incredibly banged up when they got to RBC.
Yes.
But we were astonished that happened.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. And this whole week of football, it's got storylines like this. I mean, we just got off our call and we're going down all the games that we've got to get to this week on Friday night. It's an insane list of games. I think let's take everybody a little bit of look behind the curtain here and see where we're going on Friday night. You're going to step into my shoes.
Yes.
Go up to Cave and Point, Jersey City for DePaul Catholic St. Peter's. I mean, another one of these SEC level games, right? This, you've got, in my eyes, I'm going to say QB1 and QB2 in New Jersey. Very tough.
I'm going to put Jack Cannon in there, too.
Jack Cannon deserves, yes. Definitely deserves to be in there. But, okay, so QB1, 2, or 3 in the mix right there. You're going to see 2 of the best quarterbacks in New Jersey go at it head-to-head. Tyler Bell, Derek Zammit, my goodness gracious. St. Peter's Prep is on fire right now. They're coming out of the bye week. They're feeling very good. Oh, no, DePaul's coming out of their bye week. I'm sorry. So you've got 2 teams. Look, St. Peter's, they beat St. Joe's already this season. This DePaul game was another one that they had circled that they needed to win this year to really cement a top 4, a top 3 seed in non-public A. DePaul Catholic definitely needs a win after, losing to Don Bosco 2 weeks ago. So that's gonna be a big time spot.
Look, we can't promote gambling, right? But
we're definitely not going to do that,
right? There's not going to be a Jersey Sports Zone high school sports book. It's not happening. But
no,
let's have a little fun.
Okay.
Over under. If we were to set the line, 63.
Yeah. I'd say 54. I'll put it at 54.
Okay. You're going to set it at 54?
I set it at 54.
I'm going to see more than 54 points.
It's possible. Look, it's definitely. I will say St. Peter's defense is pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good. But
that's why you went to 54.
That's why I went down a little bit, because I have seen the St. Peter's defense and I have seen DePaul's defense both play at their best. I've seen their best. So I know what they're capable of. But you also say you got 2 stud QBs. So
that can spin it.
These guys. Yes.
And then I think of that stable at St. Peter's when they're going to roll out Barksdale and Teray.
Barksdale, Teray, Hunter Watson. Chris Horn, and then the other side, Mason James. Kyron DeBow is over at DePaul Catholic. I mean, there's just so many athletes on the outside. It's going to be a track meet.
So I'm pumped to see that game.
Yes.
I'm going with the over.
Okay.
And, the hypothetical over.
Yeah.
We're at the time of year where we're like, who's the best team we haven't seen yet?
For sure.
And I think what we arrived at was, we talked about them for a couple of weeks behind the scenes, Jay. We want to see Sayreville.
Sayreville's
the Bombers.
On fire.
Great game. Sayreville hosting Montgomery.
It's a big spot for Sayreville. couple weeks ago, they went over to Piscataway and beat Piscataway. That was a massive win for Sayreville, a big old-school GMC rivalry game. They got a guy named Sean Jackson who was eclipsed double-digit touchdowns, eclipsed 1,000 yards on the ground. He is really the motor to this team. So Sayreville, if they pick up a win here, can improve to 8-0 on the season. And look, at this point of the year, they're a big Group 5 team. If they go to 8-0 in the regular season, they're all possibly but going to secure a 1 or 2 seed in their sectional bracket, and they're going to be hosting some big-time games over there in Middlesex County. So it's a big spot for Sayreville here.
And then a great storyline game. The wheel landed on West Essex.
Yeah, we broke it down last week.
Right, and now we're going to get that storyline. West Essex and Hanover Park. We're going to be there.
Yes.
And what a great storyline.
I can't wait. Yeah, Hanover Park, 7-0 this season. They're in a new regime after head coach Dan Fulton left Hanover Park after a decade of really successful football over there at Hanover Park. They were in sectional championships. They were always in the mix. Coach Fulton now is at West Essex. West Essex is 4-2 coming out of their bye week. Hanover Park, 7-0. How is that going to be? Certainly an emotional spot there for Coach Fulton. You know, these West Essex guys are going to want to go and represent to make sure they get their new guy a win. It's at West Essex, so they don't have to go back to HP, which would have been really interesting.
Right.
Would have been interesting. I'm sure he would have been very well received nonetheless, because certainly a great head coach there at Hanover Park, but that's a big-time spot. So we're really excited to get there as well. And then the other one.
If that isn't enough.
Right, if that's not enough, let's load it up with one of the biggest, neighborhood rivalries, neighboring town rivalries you can think of. East Orange and West Orange. I was there for the sectional championship game last year. A really close game, a physical game. My God, I was bruised walking out of that game. It is so physical. EO and West Orange, so much fun to watch those two teams play. There's a lot of passion on those coaching staffs. There's a lot of passion on the field. Those kids live for this game. So we are going to be at East Orange, West Orange. East Orange was not the favorite going into that game last year. They had, you could say they were the underdog going up against a really kind of high-powered West Orange team. West Orange was without their quarterback, so they were in flux a little bit, and East Orange was able to take advantage. So EO has had 4 shutouts this year. Their defense is playing really, really well. West Orange played a tough schedule. You could say, what do you learn from a loss? They only lost by 4 to Phillipsburg a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
And so, you saw West Orange early in the season against Shabazz in a low-scoring game.
Right.
They're 5-2 right now. Only 2 losses are to Shabazz and Phillipsburg. Shabazz should be a top seed in their section in a couple weeks, and Phillipsburg should be a number 1 seed in their section. So these aren't bad losses by West Orange. That place is going to be packed. Oh my God! It's just our guy Sean Dugan is going to go into that game. I got to tell him to get there like an hour and a half early.
You have to get there early.
I mean, that is a spot where you just got to get there early, because West Orange is a big campus, but limited parking. So you got to get there, get your spot, because that place is going to fill up. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere. I've been there for a big game against these two teams, and boy, it's a lot of fun.
It's going to be wild. And we've got all those games coming up on Friday that we just broke down. We'll post it on jerseysportszone.com. Now, Jay, as we head to break, we're going to do our Blast from the Past, brought to you by Heldrich Hotel in New Brunswick. Big thanks to them. We love this segment, right? Because it's
so much fun.
Gives us a chance to go into the archives. And I know you're excited. UCLA has risen from the dead.
Yes.
Right? They got back-to-back wins. They played a role in the end of the James Franklin era at Penn State, and then they turn up to go to Michigan State, and a little revenge game for our friend Jalen Berger. How about Jalen Berger stepping up against his former team?
That's a really interesting spot. Jalen has had quite a journey through college football. He has. I mean, when he was in high school, this was a guy that, every college coach was going to Don Bosco. He had 30, 35 offers. He was up for our Zoneman Trophy his senior year with Kyle Monangai. We had 2 kids from the same backfield. In the same backfield.
A Chicago Bear and a UCLA Bruin.
Yeah. I mean, look, we made the right choice, right? Having those 2 guys up there. Look, Jalen has had a longer journey through the college football world, but to go out a revenge game against Michigan State, the team he played at, 3-touchdown game, and to help UCLA pick up a big win, that's a really awesome spot for him.
It's time for another Blast from the Past, brought to you by the Heldridge, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel.
Welcome to Blast from the Past, sponsored by the Heldridge. I'm Tyler Mraz. UCLA running back Jalen Berger scored 3 touchdowns in the Bruins' win over Michigan State. Back in 2019, Jay Cook captured the Don Bosco alum, scoring 3 times in a big win over St. Joe's Montvale.
Berger is used in a multitude of ways. We saw the rush. Now we see the receiving end. Wide open on the wheel route, Jake Robbins with a perfect pass. Touchdown, Bosco. Next play, it's Jalen Berger getting the call again on the jet sweep. He's money. Berger finds the zone again to make it a 21-0 game. Still 7:06 left in the third. Again on the sweep, it's Jalen Berger, and that's 4-star speed around the corner. No catching him. Berger dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Bosco. His 3rd score of the day comes from 17 yards out.
Blast from the Past is brought to you by the Heldridge, New Brunswick's only 4-star hotel and a preferred hotel of Rutgers football fans since 2005. The Heldridge helps you make the most of your game day weekend, providing premium accommodations in the cultural heart of downtown New Brunswick. Restaurants, bars, theaters, parks, museums, and more are only steps away. Whether you're traveling alone or with a large group, book your stay at the Heldridge and make the most of your game day weekend.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Jay, we got to do a better job of introing our guests. That's what I decided. We got to hype it up. We got a great guy coming on here now on the pod. 144-pound state champion, 2024. Most outstanding wrestler in the entire meet in Atlantic City.
As a freshman.
Yeah. He is currently the number 1 150-pound wrestler in the class of 2027. He's the number 3 recruit overall in the entire country in the class of 2027. And now he's an Iowa Hawkeye.
Woo!
But the good news for us, we get to watch him wrestle for 2 more years at Rumson-Fair Haven.
Love that.
Sonny Amato, thanks for jumping on the pod, man.
What's up? I love that introduction. I love it.
That's hype right there. Sonny, man, you really came onto the scene quickly and aggressively here in the New Jersey wrestling community. What's it been like for you winning a state championship as a freshman and, really making a name here in New Jersey?
It's been awesome. Again, my freshman year was amazing. It's probably the dream freshman year any true wrestler could wish for. Went out there, made a statement as a young guy in the tournament. It's been awesome. I'm really grateful. I'm really blessed. I've just been really keeping myself, believing in the Lord. There's some key principles I've been sticking by, and it's my training and that. And I wish I could sit here and thank every person, but there's too many people that have helped me get to where I'm at. But I could thank the Lord, my parents, and my coaches. So I try to do that now.
Sonny, I'm an old dude, so I've been around a lot, but my first on-air TV job was in Ottumwa, Iowa, which is in the southeast corner of the state. And it was back then in the mid-'90s that I learned about Iowa wrestling. Not only the high school, but the University of Iowa wrestling. I think in the wrestling community, everybody knows what Iowa wrestling is, but I want to kind of paint the right picture here. If you're a football fan, it's committing to Alabama or Ohio State. If you're a basketball fan, it's committing to Duke or North Carolina. Can you just tell the folks what Iowa wrestling is and what drew you to it?
I don't know how to describe it, man. What really drew me over to the university was, there's a legendary staff. You have legendary coaches there, Tom and Terry Brands, Ryan Morningstar. I mean, that alone could bring any high recruit there, But aside from that, it was the fact that I could compare Iowa to how it probably feels to be in Oklahoma University as a football player. You get treated at the top, and Iowa wrestling is the pinnacle of wrestling, and they're at the top, and you get treated like a king, and I really like that. I went over there and I was a recruit going into Wrestletown, USA, and that was amazing. Wrestling's really at the top of the food chain over there, in my opinion. And when you sell out an arena like Carver Hawkeye Arena every time you have a home duel, clearly you're doing something right.
For the people that are here in New Jersey, Iowa is so far away, but they have made an impact bringing incredibly high recruits on campus and getting these guys locked in. Leo DeLuca from Blair Academy, Harvey Luddington from Brick Memorial. Why do you think there is such this strong New Jersey connection to your new school?
I would have to say it's a similarity in coaching. I know Leo DeLuca was brought up by some pretty good coaches, Buxton guys, and I know those guys are tough, they're training hard. It's their workout regimen, the things they do, they're hard workers, I myself was brought up by Eleazar DeLuca. He's from Oregon, but he went to Rutgers University. He's a tough coach, My personal coach and my godfather, he helped me get to where I am in the sport, and I just see what he has given me. I see in the brands, and I really believe in their system, and I've been watching them since I was a little kid, so this commitment really was a dream come true for me and my family. And honestly, likewise with Harvey. Harvey used to train with us at Dragon Regional Training Center with Eleazar. So that's another guy, he was all these dudes. There's one thing in common, and it's tough New Jersey grit. So I kind of love it, and I've seen a lot of people say it's like a new pipeline starting, but this was destined to start. It was inevitable, with the amount of training and the coaches over here. I knew this was going to happen, and again, like I was at the top of the top, and that's how those are people I want to surround myself by.
I don't want to come off as an expert. I've learned a lot about wrestling over the last few years, but when people talk about you, Sonny, they say that your skill set is going to translate even better to college than it is in high school. Can you explain that, kind of break that down for us?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of guys that are very one-dimensional, I guess you could say. There's heavy recruits and that I know of now that are, I'm not going to name drop anyone, sound salty, but there's guys that they won't translate, and there's guys that in the past haven't translated. You get to college as a 3-time high school state champ, 4-time high school state champ, and then do nothing in college as a backup, and I just don't see myself doing that. I told Terry Brands that, the night he called 12 a.m. the next day, we were on the phone. I told him, like, I'm worried about putting titles on my name, making my last name worth something. And, there's New Jersey titles. They're amazing, This was just a gateway to get myself to Iowa, honestly. And now that I'm here, I'm worried about national titles. Whether it's I redshirt freshman year, I go out there, just have an amazing banger freshman year, win a title, it is what it is, at the end of the day. But I'm focused on national titles, and that's always been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, and a lot of guys don't correlate, but I just think I have so much to learn in the sport still, and so much from two great mentors like Tom and Terry that have just been building guys into animals since they've gone there, and I haven't seen anyone go backwards in their technique and training. So I just, there's so many facts and so many factors that play into it, but I truly believe I will succeed. So very confident in them.
Take me through how much work you have put in this off season after how last season ended down in Atlantic City. What have you worked on? What did you want to kind of fine tune and sharpen up heading into your junior year?
A lot of it is, a lot of guys don't see this, but everything's mental. Wrestling's a very mental sport. Real wrestlers who are on the mat all the time know, my off season doesn't look any different than my in season, honestly, besides my eating and just my eating, honestly. My eating and my cardio is a little bit better, but off season's good, man. I train 5 days out of 7 days a week. Oh, that's a lie. 6 days out of 7 days a week. I have all Friday. I tried pushing it. Last week I got off Saturday, but we're all Friday. That's it, and even Fridays, there's so many guys on our team, Rumson-Fair Haven, we're a tough team, man. We're really we had a good year last year, the year before too. We were under the radar for a while, there's some guys on our team that I really believe are going to be state placers this year and possible state champion candidates. I don't want to give away too much, but we do a lot in the offseason, man. We're a very close team, very bonded. I know guys that you wouldn't believe how much they work. They don't have the biggest names for themselves. They might not do the best in matches, but these dudes are working hard all the time. Just last Friday we had it was our off day, but you know, I got lucky to have a key to the room, you know, so I brought a bunch of guys in there. We did an open mat. We were in there for about an hour 45, just straight up wrestling, turn the heat up, you know, and it's nice, it's fun, you know, and one of the guys actually brought a cornhole set over. We were playing some cornhole on the mats after wrestling. You know, we still in our wrestling room for a good 3-4 hours some days, you know. It's really awesome. It really is.
Sonny, we can't wait to watch you over the next 2 years. Whenever I have somebody else shoot Rumson-Fair Haven, I tell them to get the camera turned on right away because you're done in pretty quick fashion. Yeah. So we're excited to see you. Thanks so much for taking the time. And look, stay locked in. Rumson-Fair Haven Wrestling is the real deal.
Yeah.
And you're the leader of that program. And can't wait to see what you do over the next 2 years.
Yeah, thank you so much. I kind of want to just give a little shout out to some of the guys on our team, you know, that don't get too much recognition, that are putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. There's some guys, Joaquin Duque, that's a name that's getting more familiar now, you know. Most pins in the state tournament last year, I think. He hit 6. That's outstanding. He pinned some hitters. Eamon Fry, another guy that's not as creditable. You know, these are all guys I love, working so hard, you know. And I would like you said, like a leader on the team, but I couldn't do it by myself. You know, I'm really surrounded by really good people. Eamon Fry, Joaquin Duque, Luke Doherty, Will Keller. There's so many guys I could just keep naming that really have brought this program up so much of where it is, and I'm so blessed to have the partners I do. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys for taking the time for me. So it was awesome.
And that's a great glimpse into an elite athlete who's not only good in his own right, but he makes everyone around him better.
Love it.
Great stuff, man.
ACI Medical and Dental School in Eatontown is celebrating 20 years of new beginnings and 20 years of new careers. Start your new career as a medical or dental assistant in less than 4 months. From a talented faculty and staff to state-of-the-art equipment and training, ACI's medical and dental training programs are designed to help students succeed. Registration is open for day and evening classes. Visit aci.edu to begin your healthcare journey.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Get back the life you love.
Let's talk a little soccer now, Jay. Boy, you had a back-to-back days. I don't know if there's anybody in America who saw the level of high school soccer that you saw on Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's unpack it, and let's start with Sports Illustrated Stadium, home of the New York Red Bulls, a fitting setting for St. Benedict's and Pingree. I got to go there a couple weeks ago. It's so great that they allow these big-time high school games to be played there.
Makes it so special.
It's so special. I mean, that is a world-class pitch.
Yes.
So and we saw world-class play from both of these teams.
The number 1 team in the country, St. Benedict's Prep. The number 9 team in the country in Pingree. And we had not. I actually had gone to Pingree early in the year. I got lightning delayed. Yeah, I got lightning delayed, and so I was able to see about 9 minutes of game action. And in that 9 minutes, I saw a goal, and actually was on a set piece, corner kick on that goal. It just so happened the first goal that Pingree had in St. Benedict's was a set piece on a corner kick. So I had seen the setup. I had seen what they were capable of coming out of that. And doing that, they go up 2-0 on St. Benedict's. They punched them right in the mouth, man. I mean, they went up to St. Benedict's, who's a really, really tough team, an incredibly well-coached team. They go up 2-0 on the number 1 team in the country. And like that big blue student section had the whole opposite end of the pitch. They had the whole school there. They had a great school community out there. It was a lot of fun. They were making a lot of noise. And in that place, it echoes, right? I mean, inside there in Harrison, and it gets loud. Even when it's a little empty, it echoes really well. And that was loud and rowdy. They were all fired up. It was awesome to see them come out hot. St. Benedict's with, a snap of a finger, Amadou Han, 2 goals in 2 minutes, bang, bang, 2-2. And you're like, okay, back to anybody's game right now. Pingree goes up 3-2. Benedict's ties it again 3-3. We've got overtime. We go to overtime. We play 10 minutes. I mean, it's back and forth. It's close. Then we go to double overtime, and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, double overtime in this game. This is what you kind of expect. 2 top 10 teams in the country go to double overtime, and look, Benedict's is just, if you make one mistake, they can capitalize on it, and that's all it really takes. One errant pass that gets intercepted. A great player like Frank Pa right in the middle of the field to make a pass to Taslim Nia, and just a laser quick goal, golden goal. I mean, and you ran right to the Benedict's band in the corner. It was just raucous after that celebration. So look, that was just such a high level, and I certainly was impressed with St. Benedict's. I was really impressed with Pingree.
Yeah, I said
really impressed.
I said, normally if when you look at these national polls in any sport, when you lose, you kind of just automatically tumble out. This is one of those times where
Bump
you
them
go,
up.
yeah, you're like, forget about staying at number 9.
No.
bump them up the list. And look, you give a good description of what makes Benedict so special. It's their vision.
Yes,
they always
all over the place.
They're constantly playing chess like 2 moves ahead, where they're thinking about what's going to happen 2 passes from now and getting into that position. And that's what happened on the golden goal. The second Han goal was world class. And it was Pa on the service.
The service was insane. I think on the call that I made, I was like, let's make this like the assist of the year, because it just launched off his foot. It tailed just perfectly to Amadou, and then Amadou Han, it looks like a velociraptor out there on the field. He's just like so tall and long, and like he just completely leaped over.
He looks like a raptor.
Yeah, he just like totally leaped over the defender.
It was a violent header, like it was just like with authority.
The way that he finished was so interesting too. When you do the header, you usually see it stay on a line off that. He went straight down because he knew the goalie was coming in, and to make that call in a split second was really impressive. And that's what I picked up on later. I was like, wow, he saw the goalie coming in out of his peripheral vision and said, instead of let me just hitting it right to him, I'm gonna just hit it away from him. And he knocked it right down, and it just bounced one in, and it was just so impressive. So
you were about to ask me a question.
Yeah.
Where that finished in the top 10.
Where did that finish in the top 10?
So normally I would call Jay and consult with him, but he might have been doing the chicken dance or cutting the cake or whatever he was doing at the wedding. I got to give him a little time off, okay?
Sure.
I got to give him a little bit of a respite. So I had to put it on myself on Sunday, and I had it at number 2.
Wow. Okay.
So what do you think I had at number 1?
It's either the Benedict's golden goal or it's the Alexa Lee golden goal.
The Benedict's golden goal is in there at like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And Alexa Lee was number 1 because I watched that 11 times.
Right.
We're going to get in now. So you go from this epic game with the guys, and now you go Rutgers Prep, Immaculata girls. And
less than 24 hours
than 24 hours. And I'm laughing because I was like, yeah, this guy shot 4 top 10 plays. Yeah, you can go to your wedding, man. You just shot like half the top 10 in 2 days because you had an Olympico from Immaculata, which was insane.
Ridiculous.
And then I'm watching this Alexa Lee goal in double overtime. You're the number 1 team in the country. You're on the ropes. And she hits one off the post. Was that 40 yards out?
It was close to it, at least 35.
So look, you guys can all watch the top 10 on Jersey
please
Sport.
take a look.
Please look. We got some good football. I had a great golden goal from Cosentino at Ocean Township.
Yeah.
He flew into the screen. Some great plays. The Johnny Dever walk-off, I put at number 10.
Yeah, I saw it was the first one that popped up. I said, wow, that's 10?
Right. So
That's 10.
I sit there and say, I had that debate within myself. Maybe you would have switched it up, but that Alexa Lee off the post, goodness gracious, to give Rutgers Prep an overtime win against Immaculata and a very similar storyline to the previous night, right?
Yes.
Where you're like, your thoughts of Immaculata are almost as much as Rutgers Prep, and then Rutgers Prep shows why they're the number 1 team in America in girls soccer.
Little bit of controversy in the Immaculata Rutgers Prep game.
Okay.
So I'll break it down a little bit, and I tried to get into the highlights, but look, when you're shooting a game, you got to make sure you're shooting the game as it's going on.
Right.
So Immaculata is lining up for a corner kick. There's a player for Rutgers Prep down at midfield on the ground. A trainer starts like coming off the field, off the bench to go, attend to this player. There's no whistle. There's no stoppage. So the people on Rutgers Prep are like, there's only like 4 or 5 girls on the back post of the goal playing defense. The rest are kind of walking
thinking the play is stopped.
Thinking play is stopped. And next thing you know, you hear the Immaculata coaches on the other side like, take the kick. And there's no whistle, there's no stoppage. The clock keeps going. Sabrina Caroli rips it, and credit to her. I mean, she hit an Olympico. I was like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and this isn't like, a whatever corner kick, like a little pop-up service and like see what can happen. She freaking ripped an Olympic. She bent an Olympico. And look, everybody at Rutgers Prep is like a D1 recruit. The goalie like really tried to get it. She made a great play on it, but it just had enough bend on it.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, she hit an Olympico. And the next thing I know, there's a lot of conversation around midfield of like, hey, why didn't the game stop? We've got a girl on the ground and a trainer is walking out to her. So there was some controversy there. Rutgers Prep had to weather through that in the second half. They had to kind of regroup and say, okay, let's, we're down 1-0. What are we going to do? Let's, the times that they've been down 1-0 this season, you saw it earlier against Pingree. Few and far between,
right?
The times that they've been down 1-0, especially in the second half of a game. But they were able to come back in. Alexa Lee is, the one who puts up the service for a Sandra O'Neill goal with maybe about 10 minutes left in regulation. Check that play out too. The header on there was just ridiculous. She was like parallel with the back line and just like knocked her head in.
Wow.
So really impressive. But that's the kind of team that Rutgers Prep is. And I got to talk to Coach Buchanan afterwards, and I asked him about Alexa, what kind of player she is, and how she has kind of taken the mantle as a leader this year. And as he said, he made a really good point. In years past, it's been, players like Addie Halpern and Melina Rabibas who have, kind of been the superstar player. And Alexa Lee has kind of played a supporting role. He said, this is her team now. And the girls have rallied around her. They have listened to her as a leader. They're following her leadership. And she was the reason that they picked up another win. 36 straight game win streak for Rutgers Prep. They're certainly, undoubtedly, the number 1 girls team in the country.
And now we shift into conference tournament mode with soccer.
Yes.
It's here. We're gonna walk through the brackets and get to those big county finals. We stressed out about that earlier today. How are we gonna get to all these county finals? We're gonna do the best we can, but the soccer scene is not disappointed, and it's been a treat to watch. And we'll have soccer highlights all week long right here on JerseySportsZone.com.
Comprehensive, academic, and award-winning. New Jersey deserves nothing less. Learn more at rwjbh.org/US News.
Buffalo Wild Wings has teamed up with Jersey Sports Zone to honor high school athletes across the state with gift cards. We'll have Buffalo Wild Wings Player of the Game interviews all year long. Visit Buffalo Wild Wings locations in North Brunswick, Bridgewater, West Windsor, Flemington, Brick, and Toms River. A special thanks to the Munson Restaurant Group for supporting New Jersey high school athletes and Jersey Sports Zone.
Welcome back to Beyond the Score. This whole episode has been really focused on all the games we got to this week. Now, you were down in Bayville around the middle of the week, and you were down there for less about the game, but more about the players in the game and really what this podcast is about, going beyond the score.
Yeah, we sure did go beyond the score, Jay. I got an email from a family member of the Frulios who mom and dad are teachers. Dayton's a senior, and then there's twin sisters, Addison and Alex. Now, Addison's the starting goalie on the Central Regional girls soccer team. They're undefeated, 12-0-1. They're the second seed in the Shore Conference tournament.
Wow.
So we knew about Central girls soccer. And then I got the backstory of Dayton Frulio, who is a young man who's a senior who was set to play varsity football and varsity baseball for Central. He was diagnosed with autism, and the story was, wow, this kid has gotten his point. He's going to be a two-sport athlete.
Incredible.
In August, he gets some migraine headaches. He goes, and they're really bad. He goes to a doctor. Doctor sends him to the ER, Community Medical Center in Toms River.
Yeah.
And they realize right away that there's something serious going on. He's immediately transferred to Robert Wood Johnson Hospital in New Brunswick. And it's determined he has brain cancer and a brain tumor. This is right before his senior year. Now, this kid, if you're having a bad day or you're down on the world, I think the entire world could use a dose of Dayton Frulio, who has every reason to be downtrodden, pessimistic, disgusted, sad, depressed. This kid's mindset was first surgery, have a part of the tumor removed. I want to be with my football team just to be out there for the coin toss.
Man.
So, by the way, Central only has one loss right now.
Right, they're having a great year.
They're rolling, right? So he does that. Surgery number 2 is October 1st. Now, I get this email on October 4th or 5th. And they're like, hey, can you just post the GoFundMe on our social? And I said, we got to do a story.
Right. This is more than a post on social.
Right. So I'm like, I'm going to do this story on this brave kid in goal whose big brother is having a second brain surgery.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? And I'm going to go down there and I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to make the story about her because certainly Dayton Frulio, who had brain surgery for the second time on October 1st, is going to be unavailable to me to talk on October 9th.
Yeah.
8 days after a second brain surgery. So I roll down to Bayville and I'm shooting video of Addison warming up in net, and I meet mom and dad, and I'm just like, so how's Dayton doing? I go, why don't you ask him? He's right over there.
My goodness.
So this kid is standing on the sidelines cheering his sister 8 days.
It's incredible.
After having a second brain surgery. And if you watch the piece, and I'm going to post it again on our socials because I want people to see it.
Yes.
He was so excited to see his sister play soccer. And it was so beautiful, Jay, because in the midst, you're a young parent, I'm an older parent. You think about if something like that were to happen to your kids and you're walking through the gates of hell, and for a minute, the Frulio parents can watch him being a normal high school senior, happy that his sister is shutting out Toms River, 9th clean sheet. They played 13 games. She's got 9 shutouts, this kid. She's a sophomore. And twin sister Alex is a gymnast. Shout out to her. Like, I felt bad because she was training. So
yeah,
she's a part of this story too.
Massive part of the story.
You think about that and how that community in Bayville has rallied with constant fundraisers to try and help mom and dad deal with time off from school and the mounting medical expenses. So, a couple of things. I'm not a, not a medical guy at all, but
sure,
shout out RWJ that they can do enough of a job that this kid can not only get through surgery. He was in the hospital for 4 days after that second brain surgery, and they said he was moving right away because he didn't want to be in the hospital.
Yeah.
He wants to be out there in the sidelines. He wants to support his sister. He wants to support that football team. I mean, if you think about that and you can't be inspired, I don't know what else to say. The kid's got radiation and chemo a couple of weeks from now. So there's more work to be done, but his attitude, it's humbling.
It is.
It's humbling to talk to a kid like that, to have that kind of positive attitude. And his dad put it best, is like when he's setting that tone, everybody else can't help but say, yeah, I'm not going to be mad about this or sad about this. And so it's a great lesson. And they're good people there in Bayville that are rallying around this kid. And so you look at it and you say, oh yeah, the soccer team's doing great, the football team's doing great, and that's all nice and good. But then you see a story like this and what this kid means to the program. Jay, it was humbling. It really was. When you've done that, Jay did the story on Johnny Jackson at Ridgewood.
Took the words right out of my mouth, yeah.
And you helped elevate that kid, and you got him more exposure. That kid's not on ESPN if it wasn't for Jay. Okay, so what's more important about that is you're uplifting that kid's spirits and keep him going. So I hope that people, we're not a big, hey, watch our stuff, please watch. I would really like it if a lot of people watch this story.
It's deserving of it
because you need to see it. And that's the thing. There's a lot of articles written, but the visual of it. And I just couldn't. I texted you because I couldn't get over it.
Right.
That if you would have told me the chances of this kid, maybe he would be in a wheelchair or something, be like 1%. He was standing there, good to go.
It's the power of high school sports, and it's what makes this so special. Is you're able to tell these stories that aren't in box scores or aren't on your every average high school recap, right? I mean, it's the people, the families, the kids. I mean, you're bringing me back to the Johnny Jackson story. I mean, it's you talk about a town rallying around one of their own, and the power of community too, and it's really a beautiful thing. So, incredible job on that story. It was I'm a new dad, so it's a bit of a tearjerker for me because it's the preciousness of life, right? And how precious it is. So, incredible story. And shout out to that family,
right?
And shout out to that whole community because that's not possible without everybody pitching in and playing a part. So, really beautiful thing.
Well, Jay, we're always going to get riled up about who's number one and who the best player is, and we're going to keep doing that. But we're also going to be at our core, the audience that we have a special connection with, and I felt that special connection in Bayville. Best wishes, as always, to the Frulio family. We're going to stay in touch with them, and make sure you check out that story, and make sure you check out this podcast every single week. We download it. It's anywhere you can get a podcast. You can get a hold of this thing. Yep. I always say to watch the YouTube because Jay goes into the lab, gives you all the video, all the things we're talking about. You can just see it come to life.
It's right there.
We love the video. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to RWJ Barnabas Health. And for Jay Cook, I'm Rich Krampanis. We'll be back next week because episode 7 of Beyond the Score is in the books.
If you have chronic joint or back pain, this is probably where you spend your time. Might we suggest a better destination that's close to home? RWJ Barnabas Health, where orthopedic surgeons designed the surgical implants that are now used around the world, and where you'll be cared for by the same doctors that treat professional athletes and rising stars. Get back to what you've been missing. Orthopedic care. Do it right. Here. RWJ Barnabas Health.